has covered two portions of it. We are doing part 3. Welcome, Pradip ji.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So today we will complete this article, even if it is written by Eliphas Levi, but this was published in the Theosophist. And the important point is Mahatma, from his invisible world, he marked it, underlined some important portions, also in margin, some bold letters he commented. Then Madam Blavatsky given a details of notes as a editor of the Theosophist. So the interesting part is that it was published in the October 1881, relating to death and the Satan, Shaitan, particularly in the eastern part of world, Shaitan mentioned. So Mahatma and his follower, Blavatsky, they have given a clear-cut instruction. The Satan is nothing but a part of consciousness. When one became devil, and what is his role? And during the last class, we discussed and I presented there are in nature good and evil is there. So good and evil are as if two parts, two poles, as if North Pole and South Pole. So in order to mark the good, evil is necessary. And evil also helping the nature in its process of destruction. So equally, the devil or Satan are also necessary, so to say, in this. So we'll go to the second part of the article known as Satan. And of course, it is my third class. But in the last two classes, whatever we discuss, read, let me give you a broad hints on that. Yes. This is part 2 of the article. As a broad headlines, it is mentioned. So we'll move in the slide. The two classes in which we have completed first part, it is mentioned, first part is death. So let us remember what we have gone through. Death is the necessary dissolution of imperfect combinations. Very simple wording Levi has given. Death is a necessary dissolution. our souls, second point, are as it were a music. Our souls are as it were a music. Bodies are the instruments. In the first class, you will remember that I have given up 7 types of bodies, then 7 principles. So principles relating to our consciousness or spirit part, bodies are material part. So both is required. Both require spirit and matter for manifestation. The music exists without the instrument. Soul, Atman, name may be differ from place to place. The part of Param, it exists. Whether you believe or not, it exists. Without form, it exists. Like that, music exists. But the music without the instrument, but it cannot make itself heard without a material intermediary. Without a manifest, without bodies, without instrument, the soul cannot be manifest. Even if it exists, there is no division, there is no destruction or any change in this soul. The divinity, another challenging sentence for us to meditate, to ponder over. The divinity imposes nothing upon the man, not even existence. Please imagine divinity, the divine consciousness, which is all pervading, and we are becoming a part. It imposes man nothing, not even existence. If you go to the divine plant, Atma Gita or secret, somewhere it mentioned that it is we who have decided to come out of that ultimate reality, Param Brahm, Param Pita. Name may be differ. So divinity imposes nothing upon the man. Then fourth point, God precipitates no one into hell. It is men who can go there freely, definite by their own choice. In Hindu Shastra, the Papa Punya, hell and heaven, many scriptures, many religions have different names. So God, if we imagine God as a individual person, he never put anyone to go in that life. It is men who can go through there freely, definitely by their own choice. So we'll go to the next slide, just remembering what we have completed. To be immortal in good, one must identify oneself with God. God, you can say divinity. To immortal in good, one must identify oneself with God. To be immortal in evil, with Satta, Shaitan, you can say. These are the 2 poles of the world of souls. Between these 2 poles, vegetate and die without remembrance the useless portions of mankind. So, one must be very active either way to reach a particular stage. In between, there will be nothing to be remain. In between, nothing to be remain. So, the sooner you adapt the 2 extreme, North Pole or South Pole, it is better. Either you help the nature in its destruction, or you help the nature, or you be divine person. So here the important point is, as previous class, Lakrisa asked about the in-between the souls. Mahatma never given clear-cut instruction. Probably he left it for us to meditate. Those who remain, maybe in the earth chain, their work was over. And if they are not qualified to remain during the judgment day, they may be given another opportunity in next chain. So for this earth chain, their work was over. And Mahatma rightly pointed out, don't expect all to become the tree. There may be many who are not in a position to grow, to prosper, to develop spiritually. Then next point, nature is dual. There is a physical, material side, as there is a spiritual and moral side to it. And there is both good and evil in it. The latter means evil, or we can imagine dark is necessary to see the light. You can imagine yourself. If there is full of light, you have no chance to imagine that there is a darkness. Same thing also equally applied. So, another three important points. One must become a co-worker with nature. Co-worker with nature, helping the nature in its evolution, either for good or for bad. In her work of creation and reproduction, or in that of destruction. Then second point, heat and cold are the two poles, that is good and evil, spirit and matter. Then the important point which we have discussed last time, majority of men fail to develop into a new living entity after this earthly death. So, during our earth journey, during our mundane world, we must be helpful to the life around you, to the humanity. Whatever the opportunity came to us, either in the form of your children or in an old man, anyone who should be ever helpful to render service, whatever capacity we are capable of, so that we can be a co-worker of the humanity. So today we will discuss on Satan. Mahatma, it is LFS Levy. There was some underline was given, particularly in this notes. The bold is from my side, bold letters. So it is necessary to highlight something. Satan is merely a type, not a real personage. Real personage. Personage means individual being. Satan is a quality of a person, quality of a individual, quality of a consciousness, you can say. But that is a individual, we cannot say it is a shaitan. As depicted in many scriptures, to create fear in the mind of others. So, the underlying person given by Mahatma, it is the type Type means what? Earlier sentence, Levi started. Satan is a merely type. Mahatma underline it is the type opposed to the divine type. Spirit matter, light and darkness. So Satan is a darker side. Is opposed to the divine type. The necessary foil to this in our imagination. It is necessary for us. It is a fictitious shadow which renders visible to us the infinite light of the divine. It is the fictitious shadow. Means just to imagine something in a we have given a, or Levi described it and Mahatma given it also to understand ourselves. What is the matter? What is the devil? It is known as Satan. So to make us understand the one poles, North Pole, South Pole, one pole or a material part of the consciousness, matter. So it requires that it is a fictitious shadow which renders visible to us the infinite light of the divine. We are all infinite light of the divine. So in order to know the other side, the darker side, so it was known as Satan. If Satan was a real personage, then would there be two gods and the creed of Manchens would be a truth. Manchens is a 3rd century BC philosopher. He always imagined the duality. So, if Satan is a real personal, real entity, a person having a physical body and was created by someone, so then like a divine God, so Mahatma means it is mentioned here, then there will be two gods, two Bhagavan, and can mention the philosophy of that 3rd century BC philosopher will be true. So we'll go to the next slide. It is again underlined by Mahatma. Satan is the imaginary conception of the absolute in evil. A conception necessary to the complete affirmation of the liberty of the human will, which, by the help of this imaginary absolute, seems able to equilibrate the entire power even of the God. It is the boldest and perhaps the sublimest of the dreams of human pride. So in this slide, the important point is the pride of a human being. They imagine that Satan is like this. So second point says it is the broadest and perhaps the sublimest of the dreams of the human pride. So what is the conception of imaginary? What is the Satan is imaginary? It is necessary. There are entity whose consciousness is like that. And it is the nature requires their role for the destruction of the creation. Whatever created, the destruction will be made. whatever format, war, tsunami, flood, um, like COVID time, all these things are the work of the Satan, work of the destruction, work of the particular uh, evil. Next slide. You shall be as God's knowing good and evil, said the allegorical serpent in the Bible. It is a quotation he collected, Levi from the collecting it from the Bible, allegorical serpent in the Bible. Truly truly to make evil, a science is to create a god of evil. And if any spirit can eternally resist God, there is no longer one God, but two gods. What he trying to describe us? There is only one entity, only one consciousness. If you imagine that Satan is a separate, so there will be two gods. One is resisting another God, which is divine God. Another is resisting divine God, resisting evil. Indirectly, this article is hammering the very fundamental um, idea. At that time, the missionaries, even conservative people of all the religions, who are always popularizing their belief that there is a devil, there is a divine, all these things are there. So, in an ultimate analysis, in an ultimate way, you will find that these are the things which Mahatma clearly indicated for us that we should know. In fact, there is no personage or individual which is known as Satan, like a god. So here that god of evil or a god of spirit, no such thing exists. Then next, to resist infinite, the divine principles or ultimate reality, Hindus known as Param. So, to resist the work of infinite, divine work, infinite force is necessary. Suppose you are going to construct a building or a temple, so in order to destroy or stop that construction, equally important force is necessary. So, to resist the infinite means spirit God. Infinite force is necessary, and two infinite forces opposed to each other must neutralize each other. You see how uh, uh, Levi describes Levi at that era is a great theosophist. How he described how he tried to hammer this principle, this wrong notion of the medieval period. So, in order to resist the divine principle or infinite, here it mentions infinite, another infinite force is necessary, which is opposed to each other, which is in fact not true. So, in the second point, it is mentioned If resistance on the part of Satan is possible, the power of God no longer exists. God and the devil destroy each other, and the man remains alone. Imagine in a manner which he presented. He means God. Next slide. He, God, remains alone with the phantom of his gods. The winged bull, how he described the God, imagination of the God. The winged bull, which poses in its human imagination, in a human hand, a sword of which the wavering lightnings drive the human imagination from one era to other, and from the despotism of the light to the despotism of the darkness. So all these are the contradiction of the old fundamental spiritual, so-called spiritual persons belonging to each and every religion. Here we'll see there is a editorial note by Blavatsky. She says, and evil being infinite and eternal, for its cohal with matter, as a true occult student, Blavatsky, given how spirit and matter relationship here, in a short note, which ultimately last towards the end, Mahatma clarified it is true. So, what she mentioned, and evil being infinite, eternal, for it is cohal with the matter. Infinite, evil being infinite and eternal, for it cohal with the matter, the logical deduction would be that there is neither God nor devil as personal entities, only one uncreated, infinite, immutable, absolute principles or law. She said, Blavatsky said, there is neither God or devil. What is in existence? One uncreated, infinite, immutable, and absolute principles of law, which in secret doctrine she mentioned. Also mentioned in the letter number 88. Letter number 88. It is also Mahatma mentioned God and evil matter. There is neither God or evil as personal entities. Only one. What is then? If there is no either God or nor evil, then what in existence? One uncreated. Let me think over it, ponder over it, days after. Then you will be able to know what is life, what is God, what is infinite. This infinite Purusha, or name may be given in a different Purusha or Narayana in Bharaswastra mentioned. It is one uncreated, nobody created. Narayana or God or Param Brahma, nobody created. infinite, there is no question of any limitation. Immutable, you cannot divide or division, create division. Absolute principles, absolute principle or law. Can you imagine the way philosophy members supposed to know all these things? Time is running out, sooner is the better. So we should be aware of this. Then what is evil and devil? The further says, the deeper it falls, then naturally the question will be asked. Then, sir, then, madam, what is evil or what is devil? The deeper it falls into matter, good or God, as soon as it is purified from the latter and becomes again pure, unalloyed spirit, or the absolute in the everlasting immutability, immutable subjectivity. So, what is this last sentence? What is this last sentence given to us? There is no evil, no devil. The more consciousness falls into the matter, it becomes more and more it becomes evil and devil, evil or devil. The deeper into the it falls into the matter. So what is the evil? What is the devil? Or what is Satan? The deeper into it falls into the matter. The deeper it falls into the matter is evil or devil. Then what is good or God? Good and God is divine, whatever, as it is purified from the latter. Purified from the latter means from matter. As it is purified from the latter, and he means the God remains alone with the phantom of his sorry, and it becomes again pure, unalloyed spirit or absolute in its everlasting, immutable subjectivity. This is a quotation, this is the wordings of Blavatsky. So what is by this letter, by this opinion editorial, we must be aware of what is evil, devil, or good, or God. And ultimately, point number 27, Mahatma bold letter mentioned true. And whatever Blavatsky given. So we'll go to the next slide. The history of mundane misery is but the romance of the war of gods, a war still unfinished, while the Christian world still adores a God in the devil and devil in God. This scenario at that time of evolution in the world, what is going on, destruction, creation, all these things. So there are misery in the mundane world. So Levi describing it. A war still unfinished between gods, between the uh, uh, other entities, while the Christian world still adores the God in the devil and devil in the God. The antagonism powers is anarchy of dogma. Note, then Mahatma given some kind of underline this sentence. Thus to the church, which affirms that the devil exists, the world replies with a terrifying logic, then God does not exist. And it is vain to seek escape from that this argument to invent the supremacy of a God who would permit a devil to bring about the damnation of man. Actually, this is the wordings described by the Levy regarding the Christian religion, how they describe uh, God and a devil, divine and other things. So it is mentioned in this article. Such a permission would be a monstrosity and would amount to complicity, and the good and the God that could be an accomplice of the devil cannot be God. Cannot be God. The devil of dogmas is a personification of atheism. Those who are describing God, I am continuing. Those who are describing God, yes. Sorry, some disturbance. So the devil of dogma is a personification of atheism. So who created this devil, this atheist, or the devil mind who created all these things? The devil of philosophy is the exaggerated ideal of a free will, human free will. Mahatma mentioned, the Levi mentioned that this devil is a creation of this devil philosophy, or you can say Shaitan philosophy, is an exaggerated ideal of human free will. The real or physical devil is the magnetism of evil. So it is relating to all this old religion, Christian religion, describing different ways. It is in this portion of the letter. Raising the devil is but realizing for an instant this imaginary personality. Imaginary personality. This involves the exaggeration in oneself beyond bounds of the perversity of the madness by the most criminal and senseless act. So, imagining a devil, philosophy of a devil, whoever given because of their free will, free thought. So, it is an exaggeration of oneself. The result of this operation is the death of soul through madness. Those who are doing all these things, what is the result, consequence? Death of the Atman, soul, through madness, and often the death of the body, even lightning struck as it were by a cerebral congestion. The position is very difficult to imagine. The persons, the individual or group of individual of a religion who are following this type of work, in fact, they are destroying the progress or spiritual progress of a group of individuals, creating many bad karmas, not only for them, but for the followers who are following them. The devil ever importunes, but nothing ever gives in return. If you imagine something devil, there are many types of work going on throughout the world, dark forces. So they are creating lot of nuisance, lot of disturbances. In ultimate analysis, they are given nothing. Means nothing means the result is destruction. So the destruction, in this sense, the progress of soul is limited. They remain between the two poles. Between the two poles. Saint John, a disciple of Jesus, he mentioned, calls it the beast because its essence is human folly. Human folly. So we should be aware of all these things going on in the world. So in fact, there is no devil or Satan. Whatever individual who are following their path, so in a respective manner, they are to be there to help the humanity or helping the evolution or divine in their spiritual progress. That is the reason in the light of path, it is mentioned, no man is your enemy, no man is your friend. All alike are your teachers. Your enemy becomes a mystery that must be solved, even though it takes ages, for man must be understood. So here, Blavatsky and Mahatma giving us clear-cut instruction, the consciousness and the divine and the two poles, what is our role, how death is coming to us, how we should progress to the Vachan kingdom, then the role of Satan, actually what is that a personage or consciousness, all these is an interesting letter to ponder over. Thank you very much watching for this. So here ends this LBS Appendix-I. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pradip ji. Very nicely explained. So now we request Meenakshi ji to give the Hindi translation.
सभी को नमस्ते और थैंक यू ब्रदर महापात्र जी। आज हम LBS अपेंडिक्स 1 का तीसरा भाग ले रहे हैं। एलिफा लेवी ने डेथ पर एक लेख लिखा था जो थियोसॉफिस्ट के अक्टूबर 1881 के अंक में छपा था, जिस पर मास्टर केएच के मार्जिनल कमेंट्स है और थियोसॉफिस्ट की संपादक HPB के भी नोट्स हैं। आज का भाग सैटान यानी शैतान पर है। एलिफा लेवी लिखते हैं कि शैतान केवल एक प्रकार है, कोई वास्तविक व्यक्ति नहीं। यह ईश्वरीय स्वरूप का विरोधी स्वरूप है। हमारी कल्पना में इसके लिए आवश्यक प्रतिरूप है, इसके लिए हमारी कल्पना में विफलता भी है। यह वह कल्पित छाया है जो हमें ईश्वर के असीम प्रकाश को प्रकट करती है। यदि शैतान वास्तव में कोई व्यक्ति होता तो क्या दो ईश्वर होते? आगे वे कहते हैं कि शैतान यह असीम बुराई की काल्पनिक अवधारणा है। मानवीय इच्छा शक्ति की स्वतंत्रता की पुष्टि के लिए आवश्यक एक अवधारणा है जो इस काल्पनिक परमसत्ता की सहायता से ईश्वर की संपूर्ण शक्ति के समान होने में सक्षम प्रतीत होती है। यह मानवीय अभिमान गुमान की कल्पनाओं में सबसे धृष्ट और शायद सबसे उत्कृष्ट कल्पना है। बाइबल में रूपकात्मक सर्प कहता है, तुम अच्छाई और बुराई को जानने वाले ईश्वर के समान होंगे। सही मायने में बुराई को शास्त्र बनाना यानी बुराई का ईश्वर बनाना है। और यदि कोई आत्मा चिरंतन ईश्वर का विरोध कर सकती है तो एक ईश्वर नहीं बल्कि दो ईश्वर हो जाते हैं। अनंत यानी परब्रह्म का प्रतिरोध करने के लिए अनंत शक्ति आवश्यक है और एक दूसरे का विरोध करने वाली दो अनंत शक्तियों को एक दूसरे को निष्क्रिय करना होगा। यदि शैतान की ओर से प्रतिरोध संभव है तो ईश्वर की शक्ति का अस्तित्व नहीं रहता। ईश्वर और शैतान एक दूसरे को नष्ट करेंगे और मनुष्य अकेला रह जाएगा। वह अपने देवताओं के कल्पना के साथ अकेला रह जाएगा। पंखों वाले बैल, जिसके मानवी हाथ में एक तलवार है, जिसकी लहराती बिजली की चमक मानवी कल्पना को एक भूल से दूसरी भूल की ओर और प्रकाश की निरंकुशता से अंधकार की निरंकुशता की ओर ले जाएगा। इस पर ईडी का नोट है, चूंकि बुराई असीम और चिरंतन है, क्योंकि यह पदार्थ के समकालीन है, तार्किक निष्कर्ष यह होगा कि न तो ईश्वर है और न ही शैतान है। व्यक्तिगत सत्ताओं के स्वरूप रूप में केवल एक अनिर्मित, अनंत, अपरिवर्तनीय और परम सिद्धांत या नियम है, परब्रह्म है। पदार्थ में जितना यह गहरा उतरता है वह बुराई या शैतान है, और अच्छाई या ईश्वर तब है जब वह पदार्थ से उभरता है, शुद्ध हो जाता है और अपनी शाश्वत अपरिवर्तनीय आत्मनिष्ठता में पुनः शुद्ध अमिश्रित विशुद्धात्मा बन जाता है। इस पर मास्टर का नोट है, यह सत्य है। आगे एलिफा लेवी कहते हैं, सांसारिक दुखों का इतिहास देवताओं के युद्ध की लीला मात्र है, एक ऐसा युद्ध जो अभी अधूरा है, जबकि ईसाई जगत अभी भी शैतान में ईश्वर और ईश्वर में शैतान को पूजते हैं। यह दो विरोधी शक्तियां हठधर्मिता में अराजकता है। इस प्रकार जो चर्च शैतान के होने की पुष्टि करता है, उसे संसार भयंकर तर्क से प्रत्युत्तर देता है, तब ईश्वर का अस्तित्व नहीं है। और इस बहस से बचकर एक ऐसे सर्वश्रेष्ठ ईश्वर का आविष्कार व्यर्थ है जो शैतान को मनुष्य को नरकवास देने की अनुमति देता है। ऐसी अनुमति एक राक्षसी कृत्य होगा और मिली भगत के बराबर होगा, और जो ईश्वर शैतान का सहयोगी हो सकता है वह ईश्वर नहीं हो सकता। हठधर्मिता का शैतान नास्तिकता का मूर्त रूप है। तत्वज्ञान का शैतान मानवी स्वतंत्र इच्छा का मूर्त रूप है। असली या भौतिक रूप में शैतान बुराई की आकर्षण शक्ति है। शैतानियत को बढ़ाना मानो क्षण भर के लिए ऐसे व्यक्तित्व को साकार करने के समान है। यह अत्यंत आपराधिक और मूर्खतापूर्ण कृत्यों द्वारा पागलपन की विकृतियों की सीमा पार करना है। ऐसे कृत्यों का परिणाम पागलपन, उन्माद द्वारा रूह की मृत्यु है और अक्सर मस्तिष्क में जकड़न जैसी बिजली गिरने जैसी मृत्यु भी। शैतान हमेशा जिद करता है, मांग करता है, लेकिन बदले में कुछ नहीं देता। सेंट जॉन इसे पाशविकता कहते हैं, क्योंकि इसका मूल मानवीय मूर्खता में है। थैंक यू। नमस्ते।
Thank you, Meenakshi ji. And now we open up for any discussions or additions. We have Shinde ji, we have Vibha ji. If anybody would like to contribute to the talk today, most welcome. Shinde ji, would you like to say something? Okay, Pradip ji, I'd like to ask a question. Not directly related to today's talk, but generally in the same context of the evolution of human nature. So why do we say regeneration? Because from what I understand from theosophy, it is the transmutation of the lower principles, like the elementals in our a karmic body, in our mental body, the quality of the elementals have to change. That is the work we have to do. But the word, instead of transmutation, the word is used regeneration. So could you explain that a little to me?
Actually, uh, to me, subject to clarification by Professor C.S. Sinde, if we go through there is a book, Man, Whence and Whether. It is written by both Anivesen and Blavatsky. If you go through from 10 kingdoms, from elemental 1 to elemental to human being, every time there are group of souls, they did not progress. So they remain particular people. So what is the, in animal world, in every kingdom, groups of soul, they remain as it is. They did not progress. We have a discussion on a question answer format. Somebody describe in a different ways, but there are some attraction and repulsion are there. The human being, instead of progressing further, or same thing apply to other kingdoms, they remain attracted towards this material world. So instead of regeneration, they remain constant. And particularly in this letter, Mahatma Blavatsky mentioned that of course they will progress in the future chain or some maybe in some other planet. But for the earth chain, they will remain. So they don't have a region. So attraction towards the senses, attraction toward the material object, in fact, it degenerates them. And so they are not progressing in the way they should progress. Professor Sindhu will.
I think, sir, you have explained it beautifully. The way I am understanding, you're saying very nicely. Like regeneration means now a butterfly goes inside, makes a cocoon.
Yes.
Okay. So if it has to, if the caterpillar has to become a butterfly, it has to regenerate, which means into a new form.
Yes.
It will stay inside the cocoon, so it is going to remain in that. So regeneration is a new formation.
Right.
Like how the elemental one, if it does has to progress to elemental two, it has to regenerate. Go to the next.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Nice. Yes, sir.
Regeneration need to be understood deeply, actually, because unless we understand the hate, we cannot understand the love. In the same manner, unless we understand the degeneration, we cannot understand regeneration. So if you see this opposite, just like God and devil, what we have discussed. So here, as you said, caterpillar gets transformed into butterfly. That is transformation of the form. Transformation of caterpillar into butterfly. But regeneration is different. Regeneration is rebirth. It is a rebirth, entirely leaving the physical matter and come into the very, very subtle matter, which is a different world. It is a second birth. In fact, when we get regenerated, it is a second birth. Nothing of matter in that. To explain more, we have seen the wall lizards. They lose their tail. Is it not? And again, that tail gets regenerated. In biology, we use this word regeneration and give this example of the losing of tail of losing the tail of the wall lizard. That is exactly the regeneration word. whatever is lost, it is regained. Whatever is lost, it is regained. Then we connect this, what the humanity has lost, so that human regeneration is required.
Okay.
If you look into it, then our human consciousness has this capacity to regain its capacity. It has lost its capacity because of million years thinking, doing, feeling, and his consciousness is contented. Krishnamurti used this word as the contented consciousness. You are all second-hand persons. We have lost that perceptive power which is unveiled. And to regain that perceptive power, we must die to these, whatever conditions are there, letting go. So this regeneration is the rebirth, not the same form we are carrying on like caterpillars. Same molecules, they get transformed into a butterfly, wing, etc. It is not like that. It is entirely different. It is a quantum jump. So regeneration is, in that sense, it is a rebirth, not the transformation. That is what I understood from the discussion, etc. And I am being the biologist. And one more I would like to add here, today's letter. There is a music, and the music requires instrument.
Yes.
That is what HPB has said in this. In the same manner, a biologist asked a question to J. Krishnamurti. Have you heard the sound of a tree?
Yes.
Have you heard the sound of the tree when there is no storm, no wind, no wind, nothing? Have you heard the sound of a tree? Tree has a sound, tree has a music. And Krishnamurti replied, he was telling to other scientists that some biologist asked me this question, and I replied, yes, I have heard the sound of the tree when my mind was quiet. In the sense, the term love, intelligence, and whatever you can say, all this becomes silent. And when the mind is quiet, you can listen to the sound of the tree. So that is how we must take a quantum jump in a purity of that world. That is what I think. Human regeneration, we have degenerated, and again going to be more and more get degenerated, and humanity may be lost totally. Human species may be lost. So that is the meaning of regeneration. As the question you asked, I think we can think in that manner, rather in that perspective.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Anybody else would like to ask anything? We have 1 more minute. So there is this beautiful book, small book, 140 pages by Blavatsky. It's called The Darbar in Lahore. Have you read it, sir?
What is the name? It's
Darbar in Lahore.
Darbar in Lahore.
No, I have not read.
Darbar in Lahore.
Yeah. So उसपे she writes, there's one chapter जिसमें she writes कि what is the problem with the Indians? Indians का ये problem है, casteism इतना ज़्यादा है कि they won't even sit next to anybody or they will never eat with anybody, they will never take this thing. But what has changed that in that manner, the English have made improvement in the Indians because railways बना दिया है, so they have to sit next to each other. तो there is तो उसमें ही बात लिखते हैं कि ये what she writes, what I have observed with the English, they will sit down and then they will talk about these Indians कि कितने ungrateful हैं ये लोग. You know, they are so ungrateful. We are doing so much for them, they are ungrateful. I sit with my friends, and they'll talk about how ungrateful the servants are. Nothing has changed. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
human nature. Anyway, well, we'll end as such.
Yes.
So, yes, thank you very much. And I request Sister Mitalini to give the closing prayer, please.
Yeah, available.
I think I
Namaste.
saw.
Yes.
Namaste to all. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mriturmang Amrutangamaya Sarve bhavantu sukhinah Sarve santu niramaya Sarve bhadrani pasyantu na kasyit dukhabhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.